NASA expert crew trying to locate Mir Space Station during a mission in 1995, and apparently in the process they recorded numerous UAP maneuvering and flying. There you see one right there. Through the picture, see that slow one floating there? Just, some are fast movers. They call them fast walkers. Some of them are slow, and it's footage from 1995. And here we are in 2025, and we're still being told these lies about this, that this is actually not a thing. Watch what the sound
Yeah, we
on.
do see something flashing visually, but we're not sure that might be...
This is Mission Control Houston. Once again, we believe we were just able to spot the Mir spacecraft as it flies about 850 nautical miles. Mission Control Houston, we are using the payload bay cameras right now to hopefully catch a glimpse of the Russian space station Mir as it performs an on-orbit burn. Though it will be difficult to pick Mir out from the stars as they pass behind us, the payload bay cameras are positioned such that they're looking straight back straight back behind the orbiter, where the Mir is flying at about 850 nautical miles behind.
They're like not even acknowledging this.
No joy from here. Sorry. Hope it was a good one, though, for our friends.
Thank you, sir. We could not see it here either. We'll wait 2 or 3 more minutes till sunrise, and then at that time give you a go for KU stow.
We're at a mission elapsed time of 7 days, 13 hours, and 17 minutes. This is Mission Control Houston. The Mir Space Station is now visible on the far left-hand side of the screen, about an inch from the bottom of this particular picture. Okay, the Mir Space Station is the small flashing light in the center, about an inch from
Camera Charlie on a monitor.
the left-hand side of the screen. It's slowly...
Tally ho on the camera.
It is slowly moving closer to the left-hand side and has a very light flashing to it.
We think on the middle of the screen, way to the left-hand side. We think you can see a flashing light just a little bit to the left of the center of the screen, very faint.
Look at that. When they zoomed in, did you see all that activity, man?
Flashing visually, but we're not sure that might be...
Wow. Welcome to the show. It's UAP Truth 33. I'm John. I'm your host. You're watching on Instagram, X, any of those platforms, Rumble. It's John C's Truth 33, but it's all the same. It's all the same. Today, I'm going to show you. So, Skywatcher released a list of different UAPs that they've interacted with, and I got that list, and I got those diagrams and images to show you of these UAP that they've had interactions with. I think there's like 9 of them. And then I also have for you the dog whistle. So we're going to check that out. And then I got footage. So without further ado, let's get into it. It's a good episode. We got a lot to talk about. People's Wikipedia's pages are being deleted. All kind of crazy stuff, like literally trying to delete people from history. that we're going to get into the Harold Malmgren interview. So without further ado, let's get into this.
It was a star which was at least twice as bright as the best of Sirius or Venus. All the while it was changing colour. It was very, very bright, iridescent colours. There were greens and blues, beautiful reds. And suddenly, everything happens. It started aerobating. It was moving around the sky, doing figures of 8. It was doing loops. It was manoeuvring at a rate which is impossible, in my view, for known aerodynamic laws. And we asked Bordeaux Radar if they had any unidentified traffic, and they did confirm that they had unidentified traffic 10 miles to the west of us.
Sorry, Victor 139, thank you.
Pilots, better than anybody else, know there is often a rational explanation for a phenomenon they see in the skies.
We see a number of things from the flight deck. Other aeroplanes, we see reflections from the ground. This is day and night time. Cloud formations, the effects of sunlight on cloud, ice crystals. At higher levels, it's quite common to see satellites. Visibility is excellent. It's a very wide angle of view laterally and vertically. We run a very objective, continuous check, if you like, of
Where that's at.
things that appear outside
It's like Antarctica
the
or
airplane.
something, right?
And in doing so for thousands and thousands of hours, one builds up quite a bank of experience.
Graham's second sighting was even more dramatic.
We were on a routine daylight flight back from Scotland to London Heathrow in a Vanguard, cruising at about 24,000 feet. We just transferred from the Scottish controller to the Preston radar controller, made our normal routine radio calls, and within minutes, the Preston radar controller alerted us. He told us we have opposite direction traffic in the airway, very fast moving, unknown.
Wow.
Immediately, of course, we looked out of the flight deck straight ahead of us to the 12 o'clock position, and into view came a disc-shaped craft. It was shaped like a discus, shining in the sun. A more accurate description would be like a hubcap, an American car. The cupola on the top, diameter about 30 feet, in my view. I was looking down on the craft, the machine, as it came past, flying at very, very high speed. It came to within about a quarter of a mile of us. I was looking down on it, some 200 to 300 feet below us.
Wow.
Key, what it means to us that these are real, which is undoubted. There are machines of unknown origin, and this is a matter of strategic surprise from a national security issue. We cannot have something happen where we don't have a 360 view. But Gotti, I'll tell you this, man. It is so far beyond just national security and strategic surprise. If this is correct, then this changes the fabric of our understanding of what it means to be human. And I, myself, am encouraged that we're going to learn more extremely soon, not just through bureaucrats, not just through the legal system, but there are other ways in which people get truth out, and I'm excited.
Operations in Iraq. This particular evening, maybe 100 miles from the Syrian border, we set up a coil, which is a 360-degree security, and basically I was looking out the thermals and the gunner's seat. You know, I'm just doing my observation in the desert, just kind of scanning back and forth, making sure nobody's going to sneak up on us. I can pop up for a minute out of the turret, come back down and look to these thermals. I remember seeing something. I didn't laze it to see the exact how many meters it was away, but just me observing it, I'm going to say it's probably about 200 meters. I kind of see something raise up, an object kind of come off the floor from that distance. And I was like, well, what is that? I was talking to myself, and I would probably say it went about 25 meters off the ground. So I seen it raise up, and I was following it with the turret, just raising the turret up as so the barrel's gonna go. But I could tell it wasn't a plane or a helicopter. It was kind of a consistent speed shooting upward, not super fast, but it was just almost kind of like a floating object. And there was nothing out in that area that we would have been operating. If there was, we would have known about it. Definitely the enemy didn't have any kind of helicopters or anything, or any helos or aircraft. I knew it was 100% worthy of filming a video. I was like, I knew it was something out of the ordinary. Davis, United States Marine Corps, the unit was 1st Light Armor Reconnaissance Battalion. I was a scout with that unit.
So this guy's a soldier, right? He's in Iraq, and he's looking at this thing through his night vision, right? And it looks like the thing knows it's being filmed. It's like toying with him. It's like jumping around, doing crazy maneuvers, almost like showing off, man. Like, and you see that a lot with these encounters, with this phenomenon. It's like these things, it's like they know what we're thinking. They know what we're doing, and they'll be kilometers away, and they'll, just be showing off, It's like the Azalea Festival when the people would ask, can you get brighter so we can see you better? And this thing got so bright, and it grew to almost like, the size of the moon in the sky. And that was contact. This thing was responding to this woman's request. Most amazing things. These encounters are just mind blowing. And the fact that it's coming from a soldier, a trained, you know, person in the military that knows what he's looking at. He knows this is anomalous. And I'm just so grateful that he recorded it and got it to Jeremy Corbell and got it out. Grateful. What? I don't even know what I just watched.
Or any other ships that are out there. So seeing a light that is lifting up, you can see it. I know the difference between a light on the horizon coming up and a light coming out of the water. When you've been on the water more in your life than you haven't been, you know the difference. I go out to the bridge wing. I'm noticing things and lights on the horizon, and like city lights or any other ships that are out there. So seeing a light that is lifting up, you can see it. I know the difference between a light on the horizon coming up and a light coming out of the water. When you've been on the water more in your life than you haven't been, you know the difference.
Now, this kind of coincides with the dog whistle information that I showed you guys. This is from Skywatcher. This is the different classes of UAP that they've been able to find using their dog whistle and their psionic individuals. Who some are shaped like a tetrahedron. Some of them are like a Tic-Tac, blob, bright star, a manta ray. beam. I guess an actual beam, dude. Like, it's coming out of the sky. The jellyfish, they say the jellyfish are actually hostile to us. The hornet and the egg. I don't know. I mean, I think they're onto something, and I believe in all this stuff. So it doesn't take much, convincing for me, because I've had experiences with the Bright Star, and the footage I had was with my daughter, and the thing just kind of came down out of the sky. And at first I thought maybe it was like a satellite, maybe some kind of high-flying craft of some sort, and then it came down below the tree line behind my house. The only thing back there behind that tree line is a big, giant lot that a construction company uses to dump stuff. So I don't know what I saw that night, but it was definitely anomalous. I had my daughter with me, and it's amazing because it seems like when I have my kids with me, I get way better results. I don't know if it's because they're innocent, pure, and like, just their the way that their mind is, and the energy that they give off. Maybe it attracts these things. I don't know, but it seems like when I have my daughters with me, I see a lot more anomalous stuff in the sky. Just really interesting. Classified CIA document claims aliens turned 23 soldiers to stone. Any of you guys hear about that? I don't know. We're going to have to look that one up. What do you guys think about that?
Davis, United.
UAP whistle summoner. Oh, look at that. It tells you how to do it. That's what Skywatcher is using to summon these UAPs. I guess this is the document showing the dog whistle. Apparently, from what I've heard, you can use a frickin' USB little speaker, and supposedly it works. Hertz audio tone. It says definitely does not work. Maybe you're doing it wrong. Dog whistle, folks. There it is. I don't know. I don't know about this one. Maybe we'll have to experiment, huh? Go out there one night. See if we can't get something jumping.
The meetings I
This guy did a CE5 meditation, I guess on a Friday, and 2 days later, this thing appears outside his house. I know it doesn't look like much, folks, but what the hell is it?
Look at that, it's an orb. Right there. All the airplanes flying by are blinking. This thing doesn't blink.
What's his orb? It's disappearing.
It disappeared.
So welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is UAP Truth 33. I'm John. I'm your host. If you're watching on Instagram or X or Rumble, it's John C's Truth 33, but it's all the same. So I showed you guys some footage there. Interesting footage. two from the military from Jeremy Corbell. Put those out. Newest one is the new Tic-Tac video came up out of the water. Soldier recorded that, and I just wonder, like, are we close? What's going? Are we close, or is the needle getting moved closer to disclosure? And I told you guys in previous episodes, man, I pretty much I give up on getting disclosure from the government. I don't. Even if they would at this point, most people aren't going to believe it anyway. So it's got to come from us. It's got to come from the NHI, and I think it is. I think it is. I think we're watching it, and it's a gradual progression, and it's escalating, and you can see it is. From you look back at 2017 until now, it's escalating. We had the drone incursions and all that, so you see that there's a escalation of this, and more people, thanks to Skywatcher, are and Stephen Greer are doing their own CE5 protocols, and they're getting results. You look at the Azalea Festival with Chris Bledsoe, and all those orbs came, and it was responding to the people's request to get brighter, and one actually grew to the size, looked like it was a moon, and it was just like gliding through the sky. It was awesome. If you missed that episode, all you got to do is go to my channel, and the title's right in there. You can watch it yourself. All these things, and then the Jesse Michaels podcast with Harold Malmgren and Pippa. Pippa was Harold Malmgren's daughter. Harold actually died after this interview, which is sad. But you look at that interview, that's like his last living interview. Is this man who was advisors to the president? He actually had a hand in averting the Cuban Missile Crisis, so that we didn't get nuked. This guy, he was a great man. He was a genius. And his last interview, his last living words, we're talking about. He said he handled this material. They knocked it out of the sky with EMP from a nuke, and he actually handled the material. Harold Malmgren, Jesse Michaels, it's American Alchemy's the podcast. Go check it out if you didn't watch it. This guy, very impressive man. And this was his last words, basically. If you're on your basic, if you know you're not going to be here much longer, are you going to leave a legacy of lies and deceit at the end of your life? No, you're not. So he said a lot of things. And the crazy part is on Wikipedia, they actually deleted Christopher Mellon's, if you try to look up Christopher Mellon, his whole, all the information about him has been deleted. And they've nominated Pippa and Harold for the same thing, for it to be deleted, their information on Wikipedia. They're trying to erase these people from history. Like, who has the power to do that? I don't even know, but it's a crazy situation when you look at it. These people are coming out speaking about something, experiences that they've had, knowledge that they've had, talking about interactions they've had with people, and you're going to try to delete them from from history, and then it makes you wonder about the history that's already passed. How many people have they deleted, in the past that we don't even know about? I did the Amy Eskridge episode, they're trying to say that she unalived herself on her own front porch, for God's sake. I don't believe that. If you're going to do that, you're going to do that in a private area. You're not going to do it on your front porch. And then you look at other people who've came out or were doing things and speaking about things that died under mysterious circumstances. John Mack, the Harvard psychologist professor guy that was doing the regression hypnotism of abductees, gets hit by a car in 2015. You look at these scientists that were working on cutting edge anti-gravity technology, snuffed out, like, and I believe this is a lot of the reason why the government doesn't want to disclose anything. First of all, you got to think of the lawsuits, because some companies got technology and made billions, and other companies were left out of the loop. So that's going to be a mess if they disclose. And other things is, are they going to come clean about, people that were doing wet work, and that were snuffing people out? Are they going to come clean about that? Hell no. And Harold Malmgren, he actually made some claims about the CIA and CIA leaders and other high-ranking government officials who were involved with the Knights of Malta and these other secret societies and whatnot. And whether this was part of the reason for Kennedy's demise, that he was trying to establish connections and like world peace with USSR based off of, UFO incursions on our nuke sites and, airspace, because the Russians thought it was us. And we had to tell them, no, that's not us, UAPs, man, it's UFOs. So, that's why I don't see the government disclosing. But that doesn't mean that we can't get the reality revealed to the world ourselves, because even if the government comes out and says anything, half of us ain't going to believe it, right? So I don't know. I hope you guys like today's episode. I put some footage up there. I haven't really done footage in a while, and granted, some of that footage wasn't the greatest, like the one where the guy did the CE5 on a Friday and then that orb showed up on a Sunday. But it's still evidence that I, like to look at, because I've seen anomalous things like that in the skies when I was doing CE5. Not nothing that like knocked your socks off, 150-foot saucer right above your head, but strange anomalies in the sky moving around erratically, lights, this type of thing. So all evidence, I look at with an open mind, and I'll put it up here. I hope you guys don't mind if it's not. Listen, I try to stay away from the AI sensationalism, fake stuff. I really do. I mean, sometimes I put it up and I'll say it's fake. Sometimes I don't know. I can't tell if it's fake or if it's real, because I feel like this. If it's such a good catch, like if somebody catches, like, I mean, seriously, like a legit 100 and some foot UFO above their house, and it's close and it's low to the ground, and they film it, which a lot of people say that the power from the craft interferes with cameras' ability to take pictures. That's why we don't have too many clean, pictures of them. But whatever the case may be, even if they would catch it on film, people would say it was AI. It's just the world we live in today. We don't know what's real, what's not. But there was a big release of videos and pictures, I guess, from that task force that Rep. Luna is heading up and Burleson's heading up, and they released these photos from back in the day. And there's some impressive ones of a metallic flying freaking saucer, man. Right above the trees. It was big, awesome pictures. I might even just show them here while I'm talking right now, and you can look at them yourself. But this was before the advent, the inventions of AI and the capabilities of computers to make fake images. This was, I guess, in the 60s or 50s. So it goes to show you, like, it's real. And that's awesome. It makes you wonder, like, what do they look like? Do they look like grays? Do they look like us? I've heard so many things. Some of them, they say, look just like us, to where you could be at a grocery store in line and one could be right in front of you and they're telepathic. You would never know. I was watching the Backyard Professor. He was interviewing this guy, Filer. I guess he was a high-ranking military guy. He's real old now. but he spoke about that he would see people that just looked odd, and that he would think to himself, that they were aliens, and then they would take off, like they would like flee from him. You know what I mean? Like because they're telepathic, they knew what he was thinking. And as soon as he started thinking about, hey, is this a non-human? Is this actually like an alien? Is this ET? They read his mind, I guess, and took off. I don't know. You could be the judge of that. You could watch that interview. He's pretty old, but this is the thing. These old men, right? They're making these statements just before they die. They do these interviews, and like, okay, in the court of law, a dying declaration is what it's called. It is one of the most strongest witness testimonies that you can have, because the court believes that somebody's not going to say something false just before they die. So if they're like on their deathbed and they know they're dying, and they say, hey, this and that happened, and so and this did this, they look at that as some of the strongest testimony that can possibly be given. They don't believe that people will go out telling lies. So when you see all these old men doing these interviews and saying these things, and then you hear about them dying shortly after that, Philip Corso, the guy from Roswell, remember the dude that held up the material, Jesse Marcel? He ended up coming out in the 80s and saying, look, man, it was a UFO. He did a whole interview, after he was older and out of the military. And these people were threatened. They had to sign NDAs, and they were threatened with their life and their family's life. Can't reveal this, And then 30, 40 years later, they reveal it right before they're going to die. What are you going to do to me now? Harry Reid, before he died, he actually was the one that started pushing this, with the UAP task force and Elizondo and all that. Senator Harry Reid was a big part in this. And when did he do it? Right before he died. So that just goes to show you, folks, that the situation is legit. Now, I wish I knew like what they look like. I want to know what their intentions are. Why are they here? How long have they been here? Is our religion based off of them? Did they actually create our religion? For all we know, Jesus Christ could possibly have been an ET. We don't know. But it's interesting. You think about Antarctica, like what's going on down there? Like we're living in exciting times, like this is a good time to be alive, man. And I'm just glad to be here to witness it. So yeah, that's my episode for today. Thank you for watching. It's UAP Truth 33. I'm John. And hit that like and subscribe. Share it with a friend, man. Feel free. And you guys want to get at me, you can. My email is jrp201976@gmail.com. Send me an email, man. And with that, I'm out.